Here's a reference guide for you to use to guide your practice with Domino when he comes home after his obedience training program. So one of the things you're going to do very frequently with him is letting him in and out of his crates. So I would like you to practice it like this every single time. Domino, come. Yes, good. Inside. Yes, good. Good boy. Very good boy. So the idea is every time you're going to ask him to go inside, you make sure you walk up to his crate, as you call him, and stand by the entrance, open it, make sure you're not in the way. Make sure you're not blocking the door in any way. You stand aside from it and leave enough room for him and enough space for him to have your full attention and you to have his. And then you point at the gate and you make the command very simple, one word, inside, and you hold this gesture there. Hold your eye contact and wait for him to go inside. And as soon as he goes inside, you mark it with the word yes. So that word yes, you're going to use it very often to mark every good behavior. So when you're letting Domino out of the crate, please do it like this every single time. Domino, sit, yes. So even if Domino is already sitting, the idea is that the instruction to stay seated is simply the instruction to sit. So if he's standing, I would say sit, expecting him to sit. And if he's already sitting, I'll say sit, expecting him to stay seated, right? And I'll always mark. So after the command, I will mark. Sit, yes. No. So if he ever attempts to come out of excitement, you say no as you shut the door quickly, immediately. The idea is the quicker you are able to shut it, the more the correction sinks in early. If you allow him to come all the way out before you take him back in, it's still a very good correction, but it may not be as effective as if you were able to shut it quick enough. So when he goes back inside and he sits down, I'll mark yes before I try again. And then if I try again and he stays, I'll mark that yes. And then when I'm ready, free. Yes, good boy. So the word to let him out is free. And whenever I ask him to be free, I come down to his level and say it free, because at this stage, he's being encouraged a lot by the gestures that we associate with the commands that we teach him. So for calling him, you have to use a gesture to invite him to you, come, and then that guides him to where you want him to be. For instance, if I called him this way, come, then it will guide him to my side, and then I can turn him this way. We can both face you. Sit. Yes, good boy. Come. The gesture will guide him, invite him, sit, and then he ends up in front of me. Sit. Yes. Free. With a free, I snap my finger and give him room to walk past me as I say free, right? So free, and then when he comes out, yes. Domino, inside. Good boy. Yes, the moment he goes inside. Free. Yes, the moment he comes out. And you can reward him or you can pet him. So if I said free and he comes, I can ask him to sit. Yes. And then I'll pet him as a reward if I don't have a treat on me. Okay. All right. So now, apart from letting him in out of the kennel every time, there's another important thing that you practice, which will pretty much accomplish the same thing that accomplishes, which is enforcing the behavior of obedience more and more and more. Like enforcing the relationship where he looks up to you as a leader and a guide more and more and more. So you see the way he's looking at me is because I've been enforcing that relationship over the time that we've spent together. So he has this persona of looking up to me without misbehaving around me. And that is thanks to making sure that I'm doing things like this and things like what I'm about to describe. So I have a leash on me. I'm going to put it on Domino gently. This is a slip lead, so I can just put it on him and adjust it to fit his neck. And then every time I'm interacting with him on a lead, I want it to be loose like this. I never want it to be a tight affair, right? So if I want him to get close to me, I wouldn't drag him close to me because I'll have tightness all the way. I'll pop it like this, then he does the walking close to me. So the action is a pop like that. So if I'm this way, I'll pop it like this, then he does the walking towards me. And you see, he's such a small, fluffy creature, so you don't need to use much effort. That's why we don't even use any sophisticated equipment like prong collars with him. He's small, so he's easy to move around. So with the least amount of efforts, you're able to guide him in the direction that you want him to go to. So I will be handing you one of these when you come to pick him up. It's a slip lead. Now, when you put it on him, there's a locker to keep it in place so it doesn't slip off his neck. So you keep that fitted properly. So now you should intentionally also take him for walks quite regularly. And regularly is twice a week. Twice a week is okay, right? If you can do a bit more than that, that's fine. And the idea is that every time you walk, you want a relationship, as I said, to be once such that the leash is loose. But you don't want to loosen it all the way because he's at the foundation stage of his development. So if you give him too much space, there's too much room for him to make errors and end up in spaces he's not supposed to end up in. And then the more he does that, the more he'll be used to that kind of behavior when he's walking with you. So it becomes awkward rather than prim and proper. So for prim and proper, you want to keep it short, but you don't want to hold it short enough that it's tight like that. You want to hold it short enough that it's loose, but if you want to correct him, it's easy. If it's tall and you have to correct, it's too long a distance for your arm to move to correct. But if it's short enough, then you can just do that. You can just do this. You can do that to pop him if he's coming too close the other way. Okay. So every time you're walking your dog, please remember oncoming traffic comes facing you. So if your dog is on the left side, it's the safest place for your dog. You in between the dog and the vehicles. So I always try to walk them on the left so they get used to that, and I would encourage you to continue. So when you are walking, as I said, if I need her to follow, I'll just pop like that and then he follows. If he's lagging, I'll pop like that and then he does the walking. I don't need to be pulling and dragging him. Pop and then he does the walking and catching up. And you try to keep him on one side all the time. Very good boy. Good boy. Yes. Yes. Good. So that's the idea when you're walking him. With him, walking him is very simple because he's not big and strong. The only thing is if he sees something and he's hesitating because maybe he's afraid, the idea is not to stop. The idea is to keep walking and then keep doing that. If you have to do it 2-3 times to encourage him to move, you keep doing it as you're walking, right? If he tries to bite on it, you keep doing that to encourage him to leave it alone as you walk. And then when he stops, you also stop as you keep going. Yes, yes, yes. Good, very good. And I always say when your dog is walking properly, encourage them. Yes, good, yes. Sit, yes, very good. Very important. The more you encourage them when they are walking properly, the more confidence they have and the more communication is going on. So they get to understand your language better and better. So that part is also important. So once you keep doing that, because you are constantly doing that to pop and direct and pop and direct, you are building this thing in the dog's mind that, he's constantly following your guidance and direction. So that's how his relationship with you develops. He naturally gets attached to you as someone that he needs to follow, someone he needs to be guided by. That is what this communicates to him when you walk him. But the thing is, if you leave him in the house and you're not walking him, you're missing out on the opportunity to send those signals. How else will you send them? Sometimes when you're letting him in and out, controlling that impulse for him to wait for you before you free him. But when you do that, once he's out, he's out. But when you take him for a walk, if it's a 20-minute walk, then you can be doing all the communicating for 20 long minutes, and then you're enforcing the behavior and strengthening the relationship. Yes, sit. Yes, good. Good boy. Come. Come. Yes, good. Sit. Yes. Down. Good boy. Good. You can do it. Good. Yes. Good. Free. Let's do that again. Sit. Yes. Down. Yes, you're a smart boy. Free. Good boy. So brings us to the next thing. We're just going to go step by step through the things that I just did, right? So you've taken him on walks and all that. Now you want to practice one-on-ones with him, direct communication with him. Now with direct communication, I use a reward system. So I encourage you to continue the reward system because if you suddenly skip it, then things are going to go backward. The truth is that treats are forever. It's just that the more your dog's communication with you becomes stronger, the less you need to rely on treats. At a certain point in time, you can give 1 treat per 10 actions. But then it is your own discretion that will help you know how to fade it out until you need to give fewer and fewer and fewer treats, right? And then the more you do that, then the more you are building the behavior in him as second nature. So it gets to a point, yes, truthfully, when there are no treats in hand, he'll still respond. Sit, yes, down, yes, free. Yes, very good. He'll still respond with no treats and whatnot. Even now, it's happening well because there's this expectation that at a certain point in this, treats will follow. It's like when you're working, the salary is the motivation. But if you've worked for 3 months, 4 months, and they've been paying you, if they don't pay you the 5th month and the 6th month, you feel like, no, the 7th month, they'll pay me and they'll even pay me with arrears. So let me keep going to work. Same idea over here, right? But then if you work for 10 years continuously, even if after the 10 years, now suddenly you lose that job, you'll be so good at the job that you can start like your own private practice to do the same work because it's part and parcel of you at that point. You are very, very good at it. And you can easily get another job elsewhere. So the motivation you need to excel will be much, much lower. But at the end of the day, motivation is still going to be the driving factor for you to ever continue doing your work. That's why treats are forever. Come. Yes. Sit. Yes. Down. Yes. Sit. Yes. Free. Yes. This way. Good. Sit. Good. Down. Yes. Sit. Don't play. Sit. Yes. Free. Yes. Take it. Very good. Very good. He was beginning to get frustrated. Like, where's my treat? Where's my treat? So I'm going to demonstrate the first one, which is come. Now, when you're calling him come, the gesture, as I said, invites him and guide him. When he gets to where you want him to be, you reward him, okay? But when you're practicing that, you're basically practicing his ability to respond to you quickly all the time. So one of the best ways to practice it is to learn how to mark the right moment when you call him. So if I say, Domino, yes, the yes has to come the moment he starts to move towards me, right? And then if, for example, he's looking elsewhere, right? Trying to distract him. If, for example, he's looking elsewhere, good. If I say, Domino, yes, the moment I mark is the moment he turns the attention from where he's looking to me. So it's two things. If he's already looking at you, then the moment you mark is when he takes his first step. But if he's looking away from you, then you mark the moment he looks at you when you call. He may not even start moving. But if he looks at you and you mark it yes with your invite, it will encourage him to start moving. Domino, yes. And the yes encourages speed towards you. So that's how you practice your recall. So if there are distractions around that he may go to, you can leave this alone, allow him to go towards them, and then you call, and then whenever he responds, you mark and reward. That's a good way to practice it, right? But if there are no distractions, you can create your own distractions, but have this to limit him from going all the way, so that when his attention is there, you call him, and that's how you can practice that. It's something that I think is easy for you to practice every single day, so I'd encourage you to practice that as well. Domino, yes, good, very good. All right. So for treats, I am using chopped up chicken sausage. So I chop them up and I just put them in my air fryer. Okay, so that they become a little bit fried, but not crispy, right? Just fried so that it's a little bit dry as compared to the soft, moist one. Yes, very good. So now we're going to move to his sits and a technique I called luring. The luring is the guide. So I've lured him to my front. Sit. Yes, he's sitting in my front because I lured him here. And then I reward. Now, Domino. Yes. I've lured him to my side, lured him in a U-turn, and lured him to stand beside me. Sit. Yes. Now he's sitting at my side where I want him to be at this particular moment. I mark and I reward him there. Domino. Yes. Lure him to face me again. Sit. Yes. And then reward him when he's sitting in front of me. I'm going to lure him to my side again. Domino. Yes. Lure him to my side. Turn him. Sit. Yes. And then he sits where I want him to sit. Let me take this off. The good thing about Domino is he has a high appetite for treats. So he gives you a lot of engagement. So once you are in an enclosed space, you really don't need a leash when you're practicing these things with him. Apart from his walk, you really don't need a leash. You can rely solely on your treats. As long as the treats are enticing, and he loves these chicken sausages. So I'll do without that so that it doesn't make it a bit complex for him. It's a bit heavy because of his size. He's still very small. So now that luring technique, as simple as it looks in the video, when you practice it, you realize it's a bit awkward. So I want you to carefully practice it. Every time you call him, be conscious about inviting him with a lure. Domino, so I can guide him to where I want him to be, center of my body in front of me. Sit. Yes. And then I reward. Now, when I'm saying sit, you'll notice that when I lure him and he gets where I want him to get, my hand goes sit. I take the treat away as I ask him to sit. I don't hold it and say sit, waiting with the treat. Otherwise, his attention is just on the treat and he's not really learning anything. But I take it away, sit, and then when he sits, I mark yes, and then I bring it back to him and he gets it. So that way, his focus will be away from the treat for that brief moment, and he will see me do that. And then when I do it, he'll be looking up as he sees me say yes. So all these things register in his imagery. So you realize that sometimes for demonstration purposes, right? If I call him without talking and I do the actions, I'll get the results, right? You see, I'll get the results. Because he's registered all of those things visually. So it's good to continue with the same gesture so that you're consistent with them, so that whenever the verbal fails, the gesture will not fail you. So Domino, yes, come. Sit. Good. Down. Yes. Free. Yes. So I also demonstrated this to let you know he also understands the verbal. But the fact is he registers the visual first. So practice with the gesture, please, 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 and let it be consistent so that he doesn't forget the gesture. Otherwise, all this work has been cost 90. So the gesture when you lower him to your side, this time is sit. You raise it above his head like you're raising a handbrake. Not this time to your face, but above his head. Yes, and then, no, sit, yes, and then you reward. If it's in front of you, domino, yes. Sit is to your chest or to the bottom of your chin, yes, and then you reward. Okay, I'll do that one more time. If it's to your side, domino, sit is above his head, yes, and then he gets his reward. Good boy. So now, when you've worked on these, you practice his down the same way. Domino, yes, when he gets here, down, yes, the moment he goes down all the way, both elbows touching the floor, you mark, you reward him, and then you free him. Free, yes, okay. So every time you ask him to sit, free him afterwards before you do the next thing, so that he doesn't also forget the free command. Free, yes, and with the free, you swing your arm to the side. Free, it's like you're giving him the permission to pass you by, and then he follows. So he also registers that gesture. So when he is for some high level of distraction, he's not responding to the verbal, and you do that, then you get an action. Yes, yes, very good. And when I say yes, it encourages more movement. So don't forget your markers, your yeses, don't forget your gestures, and then practice lowering in different ways. Lowering to your front, lowering to your right side, lowering with your left hand to your left side. You know, it's good to practice moving him in these dynamic ways. Down. Yes, very good. And it's good to practice all of his things in all these spaces. Free. Yes. So when he's face to face, sit. Yes. So if he's sitting in front of me, down, I'll point down from up, because when I say sit, my hand is here. So this is the gesture for sit, but the gesture for down is the opposite. With the finger pointed, I say down. When he goes down, I reward. So if I say down and he's hesitating, this will still remain down. I will not say down and take it away. If you say down and take it away, it may look like you're doing a sit gesture after. So you just say down, you hold it. When he goes down, you mark, and then you give him his reward. As you can see, he's learned to understand that if he sits, he needs to stay put. If he lies down, he needs to stay put. Very smart guy. So you free him. Free to remind him that, yes, he does need to stay put and wait for what? Free. Okay. Come. Yes, so you practice in front. Sit. Yes. No, sit. So when he's doing it down and you want him to sit, you hold the treat above his head and you say, sit. If he hesitates, lower it a bit to encourage him. Take it back. Lower it a bit to encourage him. Take it back. Yes. Mark it after you've taken it back and he's still sitting. And then you reward him. So then now you ask him to do the down. Down. Yes. And then you reward. Then you practice on the side. Free. Yes. Bring him. Sit. Yes. So the same thing. If he does this, I say, no. Sit. Lower it a bit to encourage him to get up. Yes. And if he's still there when I get up, yes. And then I reward him. Because when he starts to get reward, sometimes he knows now we are doing down. So he does the down without you asking. But you want him to learn to follow your instructions and not follow his instincts in times like this. Down. Yes. Good. Very good. Free. And then we'll practice on this side as well. Free. Yes. Sit. Yes. Down. Yes. Reward him. And then now I will free. Very good. Very good. Awesome. So now the next thing we practice is a stay command. So with a stay, you practice first face to face and then side by side. So face to face, this is come. An example. He's facing you, sit. Nope, sit. Yes. So when he says, I'll mark yes, and then I'll leave him alone. Walk casually away from him. And if at any point I turn and he's there, I'll say yes, and then I'll walk back to him casually and reward him for staying. Very good. Then right after, I'll free him. So the thing about practicing his stay is that is where your journey begins. Because when you get a hang of communicating and you get him to sit and stuff like that, now you begin to become a dog trainer by understanding, okay, if I ask him to sit and then I leave him and he gets up, what do? That is where what we call the principle of correction comes in. So the principle of correction is simple. If I say sit, yes, and then I'm walking away. So I'm deliberately going to do something that will let him get up, something he has never experienced. So I'll walk away and I'll suddenly sit on the floor. Then when he gets up, no, I'll say no quickly Then I'll lure him back to the same spot, back in the same direction, back in the same position without talking, but just with a gesture. Because if I repeat the command, then it's just a repetition. But if I put him in the position without talking, it begins to sink in as something different. And the more you do it, then he registers that it's a correction. So now he understands that this is a correction. So yes, all I do is when he's now back in the same position, no, yes, I'll mark yes. Then now I'll repeat the same thing. Drop down, no, bring him back. So I'll do it until he's conditioned. Yes, he's conditioned to stay even when he sees that action. No. So right now he's like, no, what's going on? When you go down, I want to join you. And I'm trying to tell him no. Yes. When I go down, I want you to stay. No. Yes. And I want him to stay in a sit. No, not a down. Yes. Yes. So he's finally figuring it out. Yes. So when he figures it out, you reward. Yes. And you're free. Free. Very good. Then you do it one last time to make sure he gets it. This time, sit, because this is not a correction. Yes. This is an instruction. Do the same thing this time. He registers yes, mark, and then you reward, and then you're free. Free, very good. Okay, your boy's a very smart boy. So once you are following protocol, he's gonna keep learning and keep building. So what I just demonstrated is something he hasn't experienced. So the thing about a stay command is that first, I want you to practice it so that you get a hang of how to practice it, when to mark, when you walk away and he stays and you then yes, mark, come, yes, and then you reward. I want you to practice it so you are used to it. Then now when you are used to it, I want you to start pushing it. So deliberately put him in situations he hasn't experienced. Intentionally maybe take him to your bathroom door and then let him sit and try to enter the bathroom. And if he gets up, come and correct him. You know, if that works, then try something else, try something different. That creates a certain bond of the same thing when you're walking him, correcting, guidance, leadership, and whatnot. And then it just helps you to improve that behavior so much that now it gets to a point you've tried every scenario. Anytime you want him to stay, he will just stay, no matter what you need him to do. That is your journey moving forward. But basically, that is where, like how you apply the correction. You always bring him where he was, back to the same position. The only word you say if he makes a mistake is no. Then you lure him back to the same spot. Use the gesture to put him in the same position. So if it's a down, I'll do that to put him in a down. Then yes, then you go. Then he understands that you just corrected him. When you turn his shoulder, yes, then you come and then you reward him. Okay. So when you practice face to face, then as I said, you practice side by side. Free, yes. So I'm going to let him come to my side. I'll walk a little, sit, yes. Then I'll go and leave him, yes. So it's like I'm continuing without him. This should compel him to follow me. So it's like a step further. So when I turn and he stays, yes, I mark that because I'm happy. Then I come, yes, and then I reward him. It means he gets this level as well. I'll try again, yes. I'm saying yes to enforce the behavior. Let him know that's what I want you to do. Keep sitting. Then when he's good at it, sometimes you don't need to come all the way to reward him. You can be far from him a bit, and then you can free him. Free, yes, then he comes to you. Yes, good boy. So basically, that covers it. We've covered in and out of the crate. We've covered his leash training. We've covered his name recall. We've covered the act of luring. We've covered the act of marking with yes and no. We've covered the sit command. We've covered the down command. We've covered the free command. And we have covered the stay in both the sit and the down. So on that note, I'm very happy to say he's been a very lively chap, also very intelligent, very smart. I can even say wise, right? And I've really enjoyed my time with him. I thank you for entrusting him with me for this period of time. And I hope you continue to enjoy your relationship with him when he comes home.